Hello, it's Jim Dowson here. I just thought I'd give you an update about the St Donald's Priory and the Magdalen Chapel project that I know a lot of you have been very keen on and a lot of you have been contributing to, so I want to bring you up to date where we are now. Here we are with the chapter house. The chapter house is a very important thing. It was normally attached to an abbey. It's a place you would go and study, believe it or not, martyrology. You would study about the life of the martyrs, the saints and things like that, get yourself in the right frame of mind before you attended church, usually in the evening, matins or something like that. So we've got so far, there's a lot of stuff in the ground here that you won't be able to see, like say what we've done. We've had to dig out all the drainage, we didn't know this. We've had to put new drainage in. We've got 1, 2, 3, there's 4 inspection pits, there's a pit still there. And round the old chapel, obviously we've had to dig down about 3.5, 4 feet to put DPC in, damp proof coursing for those who don't know. And we've done all that. So a lot of the work has been, it's unseen now because it's all filled in. Round this compound where the chapel is, we've got this, you'll see this very high wall and it drops down. It's actually about a 16-foot wall going back to the 1620s. So this wall is very interesting when we'll be digging it, and as you can see through here, I'll just tell you, this is going to be a huge Gothic arch door, big Gothic arch door. It's going to be very beautiful, made out of sandstone. So, yeah, and a big square door with the studs and everything in it. So you'll open this and you'll come into the chapter. As you can see here, we've took a lot of this old wall away. That wall has been untouched since it was built around about 1620. And again, the stones in it, as we explained at the very beginning, all the stones in this whole complex were taken from the old Cistercian Abbey, which was built in 1199 to replace the church that was built by St Patrick around about 430. And the most wonderful thing happened just there in the middle, round about here, just where my head's sitting here, just about here, we pulled this out. This is an old carving that was high up in the abbey. Obviously the head's gone, the arms are gone, but that was buried here, just about here, in the middle of the wall, about 5 foot up, and it's been there since the 1600s, and we've pulled it out. We've also found other bits of the old abbey as we're doing this renovation project. So the chapter house now just has to have the roof on, and the walls are being clad in the effect we're going for is Jacobean oak panelling, but it's not. We're doing it with MDF. It's much cheaper, but we're doing all that. It's going to look fantastic. So it's going to be panelled up about 5 feet, and the wall is about another 10 feet above that. That's going to be white with Templar shields all around it. So that's the chapter house. Again, over here there'll be a double effect medieval stone Gothic window. Each side of the door here, Gothic window, door, Gothic window, double Gothic window. And then over here, if you look, this is the actual Magdalen Chapel itself. Looking a bit of a sorry state, but we're just about to move on to that now. The stones, as I say, are taken from the abbey. That window there's been bricked up. That's having a Gothic window installed in it, with Christ the Saviour in the pose of the Good Shepherd with the lamb around his neck. And that's what we're doing. So we're really making some progress. I want to thank everybody. Now in the chapel there, we've now opened the books for those who wish to sign up to have their remains, their ashes or some lock of hair or something put in there in a solid granite casket behind the altar. So your family in years to come here to pay their respects to you, your memory. They will come in here to the chapter house with all the oak panelling, all the shields in the wall. There'll be a huge leather bound book. They will open it up alphabetically, your name will be there, and you will have a full page to write a message down through the ages to your descendants. So it's very important that you have something important to say to them. They can stay in the Priory building, and then they can go from here into the Magdalen Chapel and maybe have a time of prayer or handle the stone casket that your ashes will be in. And I think that's such a wonderful thing, and it's something that, you know, it lasts for centuries. Who could do that? So if you've not already got your name down, may I urge you to do so immediately, because it's not a big place. And this is for all the Templars from all over the world, so this is going to get busy very quickly. So if you haven't done so, please contact us, get your name down. I'm going in there, and I would hope that my remains and your remains will be in there for all eternity, or at least until the Lord comes back. Thank you very much. God bless each and every one of you. Dus volgt. Hello again, Jim Dowson here, your guest presenter with the Daily Templar Report. How is everybody? I hope you're all doing well, and I want to just wish my good friend, brother Frank Bukovitz, a very happy 60th birthday. Big 6-0, Frank. I bet you never thought you would get there. You remember the days when you were a wild tuck running about the place like a wild man, like a madman, before the Lord lifted you out it. I bet you never thought you would see 6-0 on your card there. God is good. Make sure you give praise and thanks to God, and we thank God that He preserved you and you're now in this order and a valuable member. God bless you, Frank, and give my regards to you and all your family. You've been a good friend to us. Have a good day, my friend. Okay, remember, like the video, click subscribe, press the bell, comment below, and please share. Sharing is so important. I can't tell you how important it is, and everybody can do that. So don't moan that the world's going to hell in a handbasket when you can't be bothered sharing. So come on, share the video. Yeah, I just wanted to show you that thing at the beginning so I could remind everybody what we're all about. Now, let me just get a wee bit of scripture here because I like that. We're going through the book of Wisdom of Solomon. We're in Proverbs. Where are we? Proverbs 6. I just want to read it. Now, it's just the way this is fallen. I'm not picking on women, so don't go on to me. I'm just reading through this. So, I'm going to read chapter 6 from verse 24. So there's been instructions in life to a son. To keep thee from evil woman, from the flattery of the tongue of a strange woman. Lust not after her beauty in thine heart, neither let her take thee with her eyelids. For by means of a whorish woman, a man is brought to a piece of bread, and the adulteress will hunt for the precious life. Can a man take fire into his bosom, and his clothes not be burned? Can one go upon hot coals, that his feet not be burned? So he that goeth into his neighbour's wife, whosoever toucheth her, shall not be innocent. Powerful words, and let that resonate in us all. So, and we know God will bless this, the public reading of His own infallible, inspired and inerrant word. Amen. Well, today I'm looking at here, we've got a digger today out the back with the Priory and the Magdalen Chapel. We've got a digger and a, what do you call them, dumper truck. And I've even enlisted the help of one of my sons. He's been press ganged into it because we were short of people. So one of my sons has been grabbed, and he is doing his best to drive the digger without knocking out the apple tree, which is down in the Priory's garden, which is a beautiful apple tree. It's unbelievable. We must have lifted, I don't know, 200 pounds of apples, and that's not even the majority of them. There's still hundreds of pounds of apples on it. I've never seen an apple tree like it. It's quite incredible. But the Lord is bountiful, which is fantastic. Well, listen, I want to thank some people here before we go into the stories. The people who have signed up from here, anyway, sort of Western thing here. Dan Guerra, Nev Walker, Colton Strait, Burt Myers, John Andrews, Chris Machocha, Joseph Abston, Randy Malaspina, Jake and Good Lady, Derek Chambers, and I think it's Good Lady, and Michael Kreitz. Now, what we didn't put on the page is for spouses. Members are allowed to have their spouse there, and yes, you do have to book a place, but it's at a reduced rate of half, 50% off for bringing your spouse with you. Okay, so we've tried to do that. It's a bit, it does take up the space, but I think it's only fair that your spouse be with you. And remember, the Bible says the woman is sanctified by a believing husband. So why not? There's no problem there, no problem from our end. And although the space is getting taken up, it wouldn't be fair to put the same charge on that. So we've reduced that by 50%. So we'll fix that. The techie guy will fix that on the site. So if you do want your spouse with you, it's yourself plus 50%. And I think that's the fairest way of doing it. I hope you think that's fair as well. It will take up the space available, but I don't see any other choice in it, because I don't think you should be separated. If you don't want your spouse, no. No. I don't know. It is what it is. It's 11.19 for you. If you want your spouse, it's half of that. So there you go. Who knows? So I think if your spouse finds out you're planning on deserting her after death, I think you could be in serious trouble, and I think death may be rather quicker than you think. So be very careful, gentlemen.
Dear brothers, be very careful indeed. So there we go. We'll get that on the site for you probably tomorrow. Just in case anybody was thinking about that, considering that, you can get your spouse on it, no problem at all. Wee bit more admin, and obviously your spouse won't have a page in the book or anything like that. But in your page, your spouse's name and details will be included. So there we go. So excellent stuff. Well, I've got quite a disturbing story today from Greece, the cradle of democracy. Mind you, there was only about 2% of Greeks were allowed to vote. So that's nonsense that one man, one vote. Utter nonsense. Socialism in reverse. It's terrible. But in Greece, Greece is a terrible time. A really terrible time. It's a failed state. The Germans basically pulled the rug from them with the money and the whole thing collapsed. Now, to be fair to us Westerners and Northern Europeans, the EU, the European Union was a terrible thing because it tried to turn Southern Europeans into Northern Europeans. It tried to make Southern European Latins. It tried to imbibe them with the old-fashioned Protestant work ethic. Well, it doesn't work. And no harm to the Greeks or the Southern Europeans. We're different people. Germans and Brits and Dutch and all these people, they don't mind going to work at 7 in the morning, coming home at 9 at night and paying their bills, and if they owe money, they'll pay it. Southern Europeans, doesn't really work like that. Everyone's a bit manana. This is why it doesn't work in South America and all these different places. We keep trying to do it, or with the Arab countries. They're different people. We shouldn't impose our values on them. It doesn't work, and it's unfair. And it doesn't mean they're inferior to us. It doesn't mean we're superior. We're just different people, and we're living in a modern capitalist society, which was basically invented by Northern Europeans. Bank of England was actually formed by 2 Scottish Presbyterian ministers. So they're not us. And they have a lot more emphasis on relaxation and family time and communal time, where we're just so busy trying to get to work and get back from work and to pay the mortgage. That's the way we are. Who's right, who's wrong? I don't know, and I'm not here to discuss that. But what I'm saying is Germany tried to turn Greece into a sort of Germanic Saxon state, and it didn't work. So basically they gave the Greeks a load of money, and I'm going to be critical of the Greeks here. Basically, the councils went from having 50 workers to 500 workers, all members of the family, and they're all on 50,000 a year. Everything was great for a few years, then it's all collapsed, and Germany said, we want you to start paying back some money, and Greece collapsed. So there's been terrible political, obviously I've simplified it there, but you get the gist. So there's been terrible turmoil in Greece, and the right-wing party, some would say kind of Nazi party, I don't think they're Nazis at all, but a right-wing, hardcore right-wing party was formed called Golden Dawn. It's a wee bit more right-wing than I would like to see, and it holds to some doctrines I don't like, but they are fanatically Christian, but they're also tarred with a wee bit of the Nietzschean brush and all that stuff. But I've met a lot of them, good guys. I know 2 MEPs, ex-military men, high-ranking military men, who lost their sons to Antifa violence. Antifa shot their 2 sons dead outside one of their offices. And today, somebody who retaliated or alleged retaliated and shot an Antifa person has been jailed. But it's much more than that. They're using this whole thing to lock these people up. I know a dear woman whose husband is in jail. He was an MEP. And the government basically just started jailing people for getting elected. If you're elected, you were getting jailed. I mean, this is what happens. This happened in Belgium. You might think, what are you talking about, Jim? How can this happen? Well, it does happen. Happened in Belgium. A right-wing party really got a load of votes, and the government just said, no, we're not having that party anymore, we're disbanding it. Here in the UK, there's a total illegal party that's held high office. It's had MPs, a member of the London Assembly, and many councillors, hundreds over the years of councillors. You're not allowed to be a member of that party. It's the British National Party, the one Mr Griffin used to be the chairman of. You cannot be a policeman, you cannot be a fire officer, you cannot be a prison officer, and in fact you cannot even as a kid leave school and go to college to study woodwork or carpentry or metalwork or anything like that. You can't even get any college if you're a member of that group. You can be a member of Islamic terror groups, illegal groups, no problem. You can be a member of Sinn Féin, which is the political wing of the IRA, and be a policeman. You can do all of that. You can do all of that. You can be a member of Antifa, no problem. But you cannot be a member of a legally constituted, successful British right-wing party. And it's even worse in Greece. They're actually throwing people in jail for being elected. So let me just read this story. Greek party Golden Dawn was run as a criminal group The court rules after landmark case. In a landmark court ruling, Greece's nationalist Golden Dawn Party has been found to be operating as a criminal organisation. I'll just stop there and tell you, this is what they tried to do to Martin Sellner and Pettibone, a little American girl who run that Generation Identity. Now, there's no way they're terrorists. They're idiots, but they're not terrorists. It's just crazy. Can we play some footage? Yeah? I'll show you some footage here in a wee minute. Yeah, okay. So that's outside the courtroom, yeah? And who are all these people? Is this Reds? Yeah, looks like Reds. You see, this is what's happening nowadays. Anybody who goes against the narrative is immediately jumped on. And now they're actually using the law to prosecute and lock us up. The Templars have been warning us for years. We've been telling people for years that this time was coming. That you don't have to do anything illegal. You will be going to jail. You will be going to jail. And that's it. And this is now happening. I'll keep reading this. The 5-year trial had 68 defendants and included the murder of a rapper and a case of violent attacks. The trial began in 2015 after a supporter of Golden Dawn was accused of murdering Faisas, who was known for his anti-fascist, i.e. anti-democratic views in 2013. 2 members of Golden Dawn were murdered by communist gangs the same year. Protesters, by the way, no 5-year trial into the perpetrators of those murders, I can assure you. Protesters held banners comparing the political party, which is known for its fiercely anti-immigration views, to Nazis as they stood outside the Athens courthouse. Yeah, they're all Reds. In its decision, the court ruled that 7 of the party's former lawmakers, including party leader Mila Kolakos, were guilty of running a criminal organisation. In total, 68 defendants were involved in the case, including 18 former parliamentarians, people who were elected to office. Golden Dawn claims that the trial is a political witch hunt. They're right. As a result, the ex-leader and more than a dozen party members were arrested and charged with participating in criminal enterprise. Manos Mosholopoulos, Senior Programme Officer with Open Society Initiative for Europe, describes the verdict as historic and cautioned against any complacency against fascism. Now, just in case you don't know, Open Society Initiative for Europe is the main George Soros attack dog organisation. They've went for me. They've went for the Templars in the Balkans. We couldn't believe it. We're in every paper every day. We actually had a woman stand up in the Serbian parliament with a bulletproof vest and say, look at the long barrels on these weapons. Seriously. And people are saying, weapons? That's a vest you're holding up. Yes, look at the long barrels on these weapons. So obviously she was paid to actually do that in front of the whole legislative of Serbia. And people were booing and hissing because they seen what she was doing. She was doing this to give copy to the Western media so the Western media could report that in some way we'd have been involved perhaps in arms smuggling or something illegal like that, which we weren't. It was a vest. But she was saying, look at the long barrels on this. It's so blatant. It's so outrageous. It's so scandalous. You could scarcely believe that somebody would do such a thing. But she did that. I was in Serbia when she did that. And she's protected by parliamentary privilege, so you can't even sue her. But she did that, and immediately, as if by magic, the next day, every left-wing publication, not just in Serbia, but in Britain, in America, the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Boston Globe, all of these people ran this story about gun smuggling and long barrels and so on and so forth because they had a source to quote. And who was that source? An elected parliamentarian in Serbia. That's how cynical these people are. That's how blatant, that's how brazen these people are about telling lies. So my heart goes out to Golden Dawn. I was out lunch a few months ago with one of their MEPs. I know the 2 gentlemen who had their sons murdered, assassinated by these communists, and nothing much was done. So, and they said those 2 men served their country well as high-ranking military officers. That is what we're up against. And if Donald J. Trump loses the election in America, that's exactly what's going to happen in America. Heads of the NRA, heads of militia groups, you will be jailed. You will be convicted under RICO laws or whatever. You'll be accused of running a criminal enterprise. I mean, let's face it, if anybody should be accused of running a criminal enterprise, it's Antifa. Perhaps even Facebook and some of the big tech companies. They are criminal enterprises because they're interfering in the politics of sovereign states. They are banning people. Now, I heard today that Facebook has banned every single site that is in any way, shape or form connected to this. What's that thing called? Anon or something. It talks about 5G and all this stuff. It's not my cup of tea. A lot of them are a bit loopy. But they've banned everything to do with them. Why not ban everything to do with Antifa? Do you know, here in Ireland, I seen this morning on the TV that a terrorist group had invaded one of the banks here because the bank has frozen their accounts. And I thought, hold on a minute. How did they even get accounts? The Templars can't get an account in Northern Ireland. How do these people get an account? This is a terrorist group that kills people. A Republican, hard left-wing Marxist socialist terror group are moaning because they've just had their account closed by Santander Bank. The only time these guys are normally near a bank is with a balaclava and an AK-47. What's going on? I thought, hold on a minute. They're in complaining their account was shut down. Our account was shut down 20 years ago. My wife, my daughter, my kids, everybody connected to the Templars who's been publicly identified, we've all had our accounts shut years and years and years ago. You know, we had a bank last year when we were started making the swords publicly available, and within 3 days they'd shut it and froze it for 7 months. We couldn't get the money, and it was a lot of money. It was like $20,000. We couldn't touch it for 7 months, and threatening them with legal action. That's what we're up against. So this is Antifa have got bank accounts. These red terrorist groups have got bank accounts and all this stuff. But people like Golden Dawn, people like us, people like anybody else on the right, boom, no chance. So that's what we're up against. And I'm telling you this because I need to warn you. And, you know, other idiots online, I've seen some patriotic party the other day saying, oh no, we can overtake everything. And then all of a sudden, one of their leaders get their bank account shut. And they're on, oh, they'll shut my bank. I'm under terrible persecution. Well, I'm going to say to that person, you ain't seen nothing yet. Wait till they kick you out your house. Wait till your mortgage gets revoked. Wait till the people round about you start a petition to get you out the street. Wait till you're sacked from your workplace. Absolutely. Wait till you try and get a lawyer to fight your case. No lawyer will touch you because the word goes out behind the scenes. You have no idea. And I say to a lot of these people, get out of this game because this is a tough gig. And if you ain't fit for it, if God has not appointed you to be in this, you shouldn't be in it. Because in your own strength as a human being, you won't be able to stand up to it. It is tough. And only a few years ago, when we were working in a Roman Catholic private school in the north of France, all the kids were away for the term. We were over trying to fix it and renovate it and clean it up and do all that. It's a wee bit of vocational work on our behalf. While we were there, we were told everybody, PayPal and all these other payment processors had completely kicked us out, deleted our data and frozen our accounts. And the Templars worldwide lost a fortune every month that was coming in on regular giving. Gone. Wiped out. Just wiped out like that. Most normal people would have jumped off a bridge or something, but we're Templars. We just say that. We've had worse. We've had worse when the Pope was after us and the King of France was after us. We've had far worse. Far worse. So, but we're used to it. We understand this. But people who are running these silly online parties and silly online YouTube channels, they don't understand it. And they do find it hard and they do find it tough. But the quicker all these part-timers and amateurs are cleared away, the better, because they're cluttering up the battlefield for real people to take up their position. And that's the problem. So I do sympathise with them, but I've got very little sympathy for them. But we do send... we are very concerned about this attack on Golden Dawn by the state. We're very concerned that people who've been elected to power by the people have been just pushed aside. And not only that, thrown in jail. I mean, this is outrageous. And we're supposed to be in a safe, secure Western democracies and overseen by this wonderful thing called the European Union, which doesn't allow any discrimination. If you dare breathe on a trans person or say anything in type or online, they'll jump on you. They will instruct their legal people to go after you. They will bully your host country to go after you and silence you and put you in jail. But they are standing back. I don't think they're standing back allowing this. I think they're pushing this. It's them that's behind it. So my advice, especially to my Irish friends, is Ireland needs to get out of this EU and out quick, or Ireland will be utterly destroyed. They are destroying your country quicker than Oliver Cromwell could ever have dreamed of. Ireland is being destroyed by the EU, and people like Sinn Féin and so-called Republicans now are EU loyalists. They are loyal to the EU. What is the point? What is the point of kicking out the Brits and removing the crown of the Queen and replacing it with a tiara of Angela Merkel? Seriously, Ireland, please. I know a lot of Irish folk watch this. I am begging you, do everything you can to get out the EU, and you might just save Ireland. I really mean that. It's an awful thing. It's evil. Obviously, the Americans don't have that problem, but many countries in Europe are under a great yoke. It's every bit as oppressive as the Soviet Union was when the Iron Curtain descended upon the East. Now that curtain is descending from Berlin or from Brussels, and it's covering, smothering, suffocating the whole of Europe. Well, let's look a wee bit at... Oh, I remember. Like the video, click subscribe, press the bell, comment below. Let's look at what's going on in America. I know Biden's in a debate tonight. Creepy Joe. But again, let me just bask in the glory of a 74-year-old man, Donald J. Trump, out of hospital with COVID. No problem at all. Bing bong. Where's the hassle? Where's the problem? Why are we locking the countries down? You're okay in America. You're not locked down now. You should see what like it is here in Europe. We are locked down. Never in wars or anything have we been under such aggravation. We can't go anywhere. Scotland. Now you know Scotland. It's famous for many things. Engineers and famous fighting men and all the rest of it. It's also famous for drinking. Alcohol. Lots of it. Scotland just announced the pubs. All the pubs. Is it every pub?
Anywhere serving alcohol.
Anywhere serving alcohol has been shut for 16 days. Scotland, arise! This might be it. They might be sitting all over Scotland now. 250,000 bravehearts ready to take up arms. They've shut the pubs. It's the first mandatory sober October in the history of my people. And we don't like it. I'm not telling you should be imbibing a hard drink, but it's a pub. Pubs are an integral part of our culture, not just in Scotland, but in Western Europe generally. It's really important. And they know that. And it's pubs where every single revolution in Europe and America, if you remember to the Boston Tea Party, all that was all planned in a tavern. That's where people plot the downfall of tyrants, and that's why they're shutting the pubs, my friend. No other reason. No other reason at all. But Scotland has just all its pubs shut, and I don't know how these people are going to make a living. Imagine if you were a pub owner. These people are going to be driven out of business, and that's what they want. They don't want places where people can meet. Oh, and the churches are shut also. They've been shut for months. The Catholic Church in Ireland, I don't think, has been open since March or something like that. And no prospects it open. No prospects it open. All the churches, the Presbyterians, they're all shutting. It's all ridiculous. It's nonsense. I was in a church the other day, just private devotions, and all the pews were all tied up. It's unbelievable. So they're shutting down everywhere that you can meet people. The pub, the church, the sports arena, and the workplace. They do not want people interacting on a personal level because that's dangerous to the elites. It really is. It really is George Orwell's 1984. I'm quite excited because I thought I'm wearing on a bit. I'm not just as old as Frank Bukovic, but then again, who is? I'm getting there, but I'm getting a bit old. And I thought, I've lived a reasonable life. I've lived through one civil war in my own country. I've been involved in other people's civil wars in several countries. But other than that, no big deal. I thought, imagine if you'd been living during the Industrial Revolution, for example. That must have been incredible. But now I find myself at this age, living through this, and this is the biggest thing since the Industrial Revolution. This is huge, this is giant, this is massive, this is gargantuan. And I thank God that He spared me to see this, and at least I can try and contribute what I can to you, the people of God, that we can get through this together. But I'm telling you, it's going to be rough, and it's going to be tough, and it's going to be bad. But, stick close to God. We won't go far wrong. You know that. I say that all the time. Now, I want to show you this quickly. Because we've got more. Yes, we stopped selling the big Bibles. With the family Bibles around about July because we'd none. There was only a certain amount. I have great news for you today. Great news. I want to show you this. I have managed to secure. Let me see if I can work this box. And maybe need to stand up here, brother. Is that all right for your camera angle? Now, oh, they're staring. Oh, dear. So, wait a minute. Good grief, I don't know if I can get this out. Hold on. Wait a minute. So it comes like this. When I move this box, hold on. Let me get this down here a minute. Okay. Oh dear. So this is how this cup. Oh, jings, my fingers are gone. So it comes like this. And they're all numbered. This is number 24. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, it's wrapped up again inside. You're joking. Sorry about this, folks. I can't even show you it. Look. I'm not going to start cutting up now. Look at this. How many times is this wrapped? Listen, tomorrow I'll show you this unwrapped. But this is the big family pulpit Bible. We've got some more in. I think we've got a dozen, 12 in, 12. We've got 12 of these in. Now, you know, there's big money in these things, so please don't let us be left with these, because you know we've got all the commitments for the chapel and everything. But people are begging for these, so we've got 12 more of these in, okay? The link's going up there. You take them out part payments, and we've got them in stock, so you don't need to wait for them. So you wanted one of these for Christmas? I mean, that'd be an extraordinary Christmas present for one of your loved ones or your church. They're in stock. There they are. There's the pictures of them. They're in stock. Again, made by the oldest Bible makers on the planet. The finest goat skin, hardback. It's embossed with the Templar's imprimatur, which makes it extremely rare. It's cheaper than you can buy it out at shops, and it's from us, and it helps us. And they're in stock. So I know we are really slow normally. You wait for stuff for months, but these are in stock, so you can get them tomorrow. We can send this out tomorrow. But this would be a great gift for your local church or somebody very, very special in your life. Very special, like that. When a guy said to me recently, he actually bought one for his grandfather who's 86. He said, because I know in a couple of years I'll get it back. That's a terrible thing, but I think he's half Scottish or something, so I understand where he's coming from. But I'll get this unwrapped for you tomorrow. But the brother has showed you a picture online. So we've got 12 of them in at a very difficult time. But we don't like letting you guys down, so we did get 12 in. What are we looking for?
The paper.
All right. Oh, wait a minute. So we've got 12 of them in for you. I'm going to have to wrap all this back up again. It's a nightmare. I get one of the women folk to do it. We did get them into you. We get these in for you at a difficult time. So please make full use of these. And say they're in here. They can be posted out tomorrow if you need be, or get on a plan. But you can certainly get them for any time. And Christmas is coming, not very far away. So do what you need to do. Well, that's all from me. I think tomorrow. What day is it today? Wednesday. Nick's on Friday, I believe. Nick's on Friday. So we'll get Nick on Friday and go more into this situation in Armenia. Again, just in case anybody's forgotten, please pray for the brethren in Armenia. Go on, look into it, educate yourself on what's going on in Armenia. Remember the pictures we seen yesterday, all those poor girls being raped and then crucified for miles, all on those crucifixion crosses, mocking our Lord and Saviour. It's truly dreadful. My heart really goes out to each and every one of our brethren there. And some of us may pop up there very shortly, but I don't want to say too much on here, but I'm sure you can get my drift. And I also want to draw your attention to our good friend Jada Franson, who is on in 20 minutes. 20 minutes? We put a link up for Jada?
It's in the chat.
It's in the chat there. Please go on and support Jada. She's bringing out another new paper, which is incredible. It's absolutely fantastic. Please get behind that lady. You can join the party. You don't need to be British to join the party. You can join the party from anywhere in the world. You can order papers from anywhere in the world, or you can just help her with contributions, because I know, I don't think she's said anything about, I don't think I'm talking out of turn, but they're threatening to issue an arrest warrant because she still owes them a couple of £1,000. I know everybody helped her the last time to get them off her back, but the thing is still hovering over her head. It's not all paid off, so they're actually threatening to arrest the girl. Let me just tell you, 2 weeks ago she had to give the keys over to the authorities because the Islamic Halal Food Authority sued her for £500,000. That's about $700,000 because she made a video saying halal slaughter was inhumane. Okay, they sued her vindictively. There's a word for it, vexatiously or something. They did that. Yep, they did that. They sued the girl and took her house off her. She was a young lawyer, very successful young woman, worked hard, and that's a woman who came from the streets, but she got her act together. She became a young lawyer, made good money, had a nice house, gave it all up to get into political activism, and now a few years later she's homeless and just took everything off her. So I'll put a wee link up in the chat there just to help Jada. If you can, please do, because it is a liberty, it's an outrage, it's a disgrace, and it's an absolute crying shame that people who are supposed to be patriots turn their back. Look, people keep saying, why have we no leaders? Why have we no leaders? Well, you had a leader. British people, you had a leader. This woman stood up. She went to jail for confronting rapists. Convicted rapists who raped a 16-year-old English girl. She confronted them. And she got 9 months in jail. People say this halal stuff is terrible. She confronted them. She went into a halal slaughterhouse and filmed it and publicised it. And she was fined £500,000. She got done for £500,000 and lost her house. Where are you now, but why are you not helping this woman? You want leaders to stand up. You want people to put their head above the parapet, knowing fine well they're going to get their head punched off or kicked off or cut off. Well, she did it. Now she needs your help. So if there's any decency out there and any spine in people, it's not just your duty, it should be your privilege and honour to help such as her. That's all I'll say in the matter. But apart from God bless her, and may the Lord raise more men and women up with the courage that woman's got. Okay. Well, that's all from me. In God's pleasure, I shall see you tomorrow. And we'll have Nick on Friday. But thank you very much for taking the time to come in here today. I love seeing each one of you again. Big Frank, you have a lovely, lovely birthday. You deserve it. Okay, brother? And thank God that you're still breathing at 60, because I'm sure there was times when you never thought you would reach 40. No, I mean 60. I know, I've been there. Well, that's all from me. I'll see you tomorrow if the good Lord spares me. And remember, until then, stick close to God. You won't go far wrong. Deus Vault.